So I'm in the process of driving to urgent care right now because I think there's a pretty decent chance that I broke my toe farming. So this morning started off just like a normal September morning here on the farm. Got out there, started doing chores, hanging out with the dogs, hanging out with the goats, making sure the birds are okay. You know, just doing the usual old farming thing. And then I went up to the upper pasture and I took care of the chickens and I had to move the cattle. Hey cows, come on cows, fresh grass, come on. Hey cows, come on cows, fresh grass, come on. Come on, let's go, scoot, little one. And I even had to do a little impromptu plumbing work and repair a busted water line. But all in all, nothing was unusual, nothing out of the ordinary, and it was really shaping up to be a beautiful morning. And then it came time to set up the paddock for the cattle that they would move into later this afternoon and put out new temporary fencing. And as I was walking along putting the fencing in, and yes, that's right, I stepped into a woodchuck hole and I really hurt my foot. Oh, dude, that sucks. Oh. That sucks. The moment it happened, I heard a crack. I felt extreme pain, and then as I pulled my foot out of the hole, I felt like I could barely walk on the ball of my foot and like the area around my big toe in particular. And as I looked at it, there was just this really intense woodchuck hole that, I don't know, I'm probably lucky I didn't break my ankle on it. And I gotta be very careful that my cattle don't break their legs on it later today when I move them out there. But it was quite a hole and I felt a lot of pain. And I think all of this is very ironic because in a recent video, wow, look at this hole. That goes in pretty deep. It's probably a woodchuck, maybe a fox, probably a woodchuck. The livestock guardian dogs keep the coyotes away. But because the coyotes are kept away, we have a higher than normal groundhog or woodchuck population here around the farm. It's just one of those tricky things when it comes to balancing your farm's ecosystem that you gotta just figure out like how to work with. So yes, it's kind of a stretch, but it's also kind of Toby Dog and Abby Dog's fault that I think I broke my toe. Now my wife, who works as a nurse practitioner in our local emergency room here at the hospital, she took a quick look at it and she said that it did not look good. And she strongly encouraged me to go to the local doc in a box and get it checked out because there wouldn't be too much she'd be able to tell without doing an x-ray. And so I'm heading to the doc in the box to get an x-ray, which is most definitely not how I wanted to spend my September morning.
Two hours later.
Well, I still don't have an answer about whether or not my toe is broken, but I did get an x-ray, and so I'm just waiting to hear back from the nurse practitioner around the x-ray results. But she seemed to think that there was a pretty good chance that it was broken. So we'll see. If it's a sprain, it's probably about 2 or 3 weeks of recovery. If it's a break, it's probably about 6 to 8 weeks of recovery. They offered to give me one of those like surgical boot dealies but they didn't quite have one that fit me properly. And so I'm just gonna keep my foot wrapped in an ACE bandage, and it should pretty much have the same amount of effect based on the type of footwear that I usually wear. But I will say, as I was hobbling around downtown and realizing that walking is going to be a little bit challenging for the next few weeks, it does make you recognize just how much of an impact an injury can have on you when a big part of your day-to-day life is working on the farm. Because I had a to-do list like a mile long, and aside from having to take the time to come out here and get checked out and get the x-ray, I'm realizing that most of the activities I had planned for today are going to be very challenging to do given how much pain I'm in. And so I'm gonna have to figure out some sort of plan B. But I don't know, if I really look at it, I don't think there would be too much that I would do differently to avoid having that accident happen the way it did, other than completely knowing where all of the woodchuck holes are in the vicinity, which will probably end up being something I check for much more regularly after this past incident. You know, one funny thing is, when I was at the express clinic and I was waiting in the lobby looking at all the brochures that they had up, I noticed that one of the brochures that they have actually has a picture of my wife on it from a photography session they did a couple of years back. And I don't know, anytime I ever see something like that out there, it just makes me really proud of my wife. So that was kind of a little cool moment for sure.
6.5 hours later.
Yes, I'm back at the scene of the crime. Oh, golly. I'm just out here hobbling around. About to move the cattle for the second time for the day. A little later than I usually do it, but it's because of this bum foot that I got now. I spent most of the afternoon couch bound with my foot up, just getting a good rest and trying to take care of myself. Trying to do the best I possibly could, but I did get a call from the doctor's office later in the afternoon confirming that I do in fact have a fracture of my big toe, or like right before my big toe technically. I guess maybe technically it's a foot fracture. I don't know. I should clarify that. Yeah, it kind of sucks, and it's gonna make the next few weeks on the farm hard. I mean, this is honestly that time of year where I have to like work really hard and like kind of get all the things that I'm gonna get done before the snow starts flying. I mean, we probably only have like 4 or 5 weeks before the first snowflakes drop, and yeah, here I am. But I suppose it's time to move more cattle. Hey, cows, come on, cows, fresh grass, come on. You know, as hard as a day as today has been, I'm worried that tomorrow is going to be even harder. Because I have to go to Homesteaders of New England. Say hi to everybody. So that's the end of the video, and I will see you guys real soon. Thanks for watching.